Have you ever wondered why there's so much tension between Israel and Iran? You see it in the news all the time, a modern political rivalry that seems to define the Middle East. But what if I told you that the roots of this conflict are unjust from the last few decades, but stretch back thousands of years, woven into the very fabric of biblical history? It's a story of two brothers, two nations, and a legacy of rivalry that has echoed through the ages. We're going on a journey deep into ancient texts to uncover a story you probably never heard in school. This isn't just about modern politics. It's about ancient prophecies, family feuds, and how the past is still shaping our world in incredible ways. Let's start with a name you probably know: Abraham, the patriarch of three major world religions. The Bible tells us Abraham had a son named Isaac, and Isaac had twin sons, Jacob and Esau. And this is where our story truly begins. Jacob, as you might know, was later renamed Israel, and his 12 sons became the 12 tribes of Israel. They are the ancestors of the Jewish people. But what about his twin brother, Esau? Where did he go? The Bible tells us Esau settled in the land of Edom, and his descendants became known as the Edomites. Keep that name in mind, Edomites. Now, from the very beginning, there was a rivalry between these two brothers. The Bible says they struggled even in their mother's womb. A prophecy was given that two nations are in your womb, and the older will serve the younger. This set the stage for a lifetime of conflict. Jacob famously tricked his older brother Esau out of his birthright and his father's blessing. This act of deception created a deep-seated bitterness in Esau, who vowed to get revenge. Although they eventually reconciled, the rivalry between their descendants, the Israelites and the Edomites, continued for centuries. Throughout the Old Testament, you can see this feud playing out. The Edomites often opposed the Israelites. When the Israelites were escaping Egypt and needed to pass through Edomite territory, their king refused, forcing them to take a long and difficult detour. Later, during the Babylonian invasion of Jerusalem in 586 BC, the Edomites didn't just stand by. They actively participated in the destruction of the city and the temple. The book of Obadiah is a short but powerful prophecy, entirely dedicated to condemning Edom for its cruelty, saying, "Because of the violence against your brother Jacob, you will be covered with shame. You will be destroyed forever." The prophets Jeremiah and Ezekiel also deliver harsh judgments against Edom for this betrayal. So, we have this ancient, bitter rivalry between the descendants of Jacob, the Israelites, and the descendants of Esau, the Edomites. But wait, you're asking, what does any of this have to do with Iran? Iran was historically known as Persia. Weren't the Persians actually friends with the Jews? Yes, absolutely. This is one of the most fascinating twists in the story. Let's jump forward to the time of the Babylonian exile. The Israelites are in captivity. Then, a new power resides: the Persian Empire, led by Cyrus the Great. Cyrus conquers Babylon and does something remarkable. He issues a decree allowing the Jews to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple. This is a celebrated moment in Jewish history. The Persian king is seen as a messianic figure, an instrument of God. The Book of Ezra details this return, and for a while, it seems like a golden age of friendship between the Persians and the Jews. But there's another famous story from this period, the story of Esther. It takes place in the heart of the Persian Empire. The king, Ahasuerus, has a villainous prime minister named Haman. The Bible tells us that Haman was an Agagite. Who were the Agagites? They were descendants of Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And who were the Amalekites? The Bible describes them as the chief enemies of Israel, and crucially, as descendants of Esau's grandson, Amalek. So, Haman, the man who devises a plot to annihilate every Jew in the Persian Empire, is a descendant of Esau. He carries that ancient hatred in his blood. The story of Esther is the ultimate showdown. It's Haman, the heir of Esau, versus Mordecai and Esther, who are from the tribe of Benjamin, a tribe of Jacob. It's the ancient family feud playing out on the grandest stage. As we know, Esther's bravery saves her people, and Haman is defeated. This victory is still celebrated today by Jews around the world during the festival of Purim. So even during a time of official friendship with Persia, the ancient Edomite or Amalekite hatred resurfaces, trying to destroy the people of Israel from within the empire. Now let's connect the dots to the modern day. Where did the Edomites go? After their condemnation by the prophets, history gets a bit blurry. Many historians believe that over centuries of migrations, wars, and intermingling, the descendants of Esau, the Edomites, dispersed and settled throughout the Middle East. Some ancient Jewish and early Christian traditions, as well as some modern scholars, suggest that a significant portion of these people eventually migrated eastward, assimilating into the populations of what is now modern-day Iran and the surrounding regions. This is a controversial idea, and it's not something you can prove with a DNA test. It's a perspective rooted in interpreting biblical prophecy and ancient historical texts. But from this viewpoint, the modern nation of Iran, while not exclusively Edomite, is seen as a spiritual and, to some extent, a genealogical heir to that ancient spirit of Esau and Amalek. Think about it. In the 20th century, Israel and Iran were allies. They had strong diplomatic and military ties. But after the Iranian Revolution in 1979, everything changed. The new leadership declared Israel its primary enemy. This sudden and dramatic shift from ally to arch-nemesis is shocking from a purely political standpoint. But if you look at it through this biblical lens, it's almost as if an ancient, dormant animosity was reawakened. The rhetoric we hear today from some Iranian leaders, calling for the destruction of Israel, echoes the very plot of Haman the Agagite. It feels like the same spirit of hatred that drove Esau to resent Jacob, that drove the Edomites to cheer for Jerusalem's destruction, and that drove Haman to plot genocide. It's a spiritual conflict that transcends modern politics. So, when we look at the conflict between Israel and Iran today, we're not just seeing two countries vying for regional dominance. We are potentially witnessing the latest chapter in one of the oldest family feuds in human history. The struggle between Jacob and Esau, Israel and Edom, Mordecai and Haman. It's a story that has been playing out for nearly 4,000 years. The names and faces have changed. The empires have risen and fallen, but the underlying spiritual dynamic, according to this interpretation, remains the same. Of course, this is a theological and historical perspective, and it doesn't discount the complex political, economic, and social factors at play today. But it offers a profound and thought-provoking layer to our understanding of the world. It suggests that some conflicts are so deep, so ancient, that they can only be fully understood by looking back to their very beginning. The story of Israel and Iran might just be the most dramatic example of history, not just rhyming, but repeating itself. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into history and the Bible. It's a complex topic, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think? Is this an ancient feud replaying itself, or is it all just modern politics? Let me know, and if you found this journey into the past as fascinating as I did, please give this video a like. And don't forget to subscribe for more content that explores the hidden stories that shape our world. See you next time.